you'd find traditional media saying we are the voice for the voiceless, which is not always true. So now with social media, actually voices are being heard. The voices that have been previously marginalized, now they have a chance to actually speak. And it was phenomenal seeing a lot of young people interacting, and it really gained momentum, and everyone stood up and listened, not just in South Africa but across the entire globe, because everyone was writing about it. Heard about it from a friend on WhatsApp actually, and they were telling me about it, and I went on to Twitter to check it out, and on Facebook. So that's how I knew about it, and of course television.
I heard about the Fees Must Fall campaign on Twitter.
Power and unity, revolution can be televised. Till it's all said and done, it's all lies. I've seen it with both eyes. See, the youth won't compromise. They can't stand or bear to think of why Biko died. We barely really think of change. That's what happens when a quarter pound is stuck in your brain.
But it's not only about us who are creating an epoch here. Our brothers and sisters are applying online as we speak.
For me, the Fees Must Fall thing was sort of like a baby of the roads must fall. It was sort of like the foundation was laid by that. I think the tensions and the idea to actually protest against the financial exclusion of especially black people in university was sort of laid down by the whole UCT Roads Must Fall movement. And my stance on the Fees Must Fall is that it was long overdue. There's so many people, like so many of us black people, like I'm just one of the lucky ones who managed to finish the degree. There's just so many people who are out there who dropped out in their second years. I could have been one of those people. I could have totally been one of those people, but yeah, it was long overdue. It had to happen. I mean, our voices, our challenges had to be known. We have the brains to be in varsity. We have the will, but the finances have always been an issue. So I welcomed it, I loved it, I supported it. I was there
I was part of the Fees Must Fall campaign because it affected me. So I had to join the whole strike thing because we had to raise our voice. Considering how the system works today, the fees are way crazy. And also the government, even though it's subsidizing, we can still see that there's a lot of corruption within our government. So
probably what happens is that at the disadvantaged universities, the vice chancellor gets more money. So I don't think they're huge funds, but I think there are some funds that could be used. And if we hope that, I think the universities need to be pressured to use those funds. But if we hope that universities are going to just simply have money, they don't. And I think we need to keep up the pressure on universities and on government, because I think government must provide subsidies.
My name is Asanda Bikicha, originally from the Eastern Cape. I came to Johannesburg in the year 2013 to pursue a degree in public management and governance, which I got this year. And right now I'm doing my honors in political science at the same university. At first I couldn't get in. I actually took a gap year in 2012 because I finished matric in 2011, and then I couldn't get in 2012 because of finances. And then eventually, 2013, we scraped for the registration money. We didn't know where the rest would come through. But we're like, okay, let's keep going. I registered 2013, and I remember my fees not being paid for the entire year in 2013, and I don't know where they're gonna come from. But life goes on. You focus on the books, and the rest goes on.
Died. We barely really think of change. That's what happens when a quarter pound is stuck in your brain. You probably wonder why population control happens in Africa. I can't be mad at y'all, so I'll just carry on. Let's walk tall, and this long walk to freedom came across the walls where the borders separate the people.
The challenge of not paying my fees first year, I couldn't see my results. The entire year, I didn't see my results. I didn't see my results from June to December. Only got my first year results in second year, around February. Because the whole year I didn't pay, and I didn't have NSFAS. UJ NSFAS has a whole complicated system. You apply the previous year for the next year. You never apply. So people don't know this. Obviously, you are at Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal. You don't know the dynamics. You think I'm gonna get to UJ, I'm gonna apply NSFAS, they're gonna give me NSFAS. So you don't know the whole dynamic. So I couldn't see my results. That was stressful. But I thought, I would study hard, so the chances of supplementaries were not that much in failing. So the only thing for me was not seeing my results. You want to see your results when you've written something. You want to know if I passed, how I passed. So but the following year, second year, I couldn't get in at UJ because of because I hadn't registered and I couldn't register before I actually paid my fees, the outstanding one. And so I couldn't get in. I had to go through the way, like, have my ID, write down my details. So I'm new to the university. That time I'm a second year. So those are the dynamics and the challenges.
We discussed on the issue. We came up with proposal to an extent of saying that it should be an introduction of education tax. And today they are just listening to us. They are not willing to engage on the issue.
We're here to tell you it's an instruction.
You must understand that without them they will never be united.
were some victories, but I think that maybe there were broader issues that the young are disillusioned with. And I think that needs to be taken into account. I think the young are disillusioned with the ANC, and I think that the ANC needs to listen more to young people, and not just free education, but I think that the broad issues need to be taken account of. I think they're mostly disillusioned with listening to them and with being heard and with their voice being heard. So I think that free education is one thing. I think maybe grants are another. I think that the economy is another. So I think there's a range of issues that disillusion young people. But I think that the main issue is listening to them.
I think definitely it's the marches, the demonstration that the students showed. Because when they went to Parliament, I remember it was the mini financial budget speech from then Minister Nhlanhla. And you know how important that is. You know, they don't want anyone to disrupt that going on. So for students to actually go there and say, hey, listen up, this is what we want. And that really played a significant role because they had to stop and listen because you had people from the media who were there for the speech. So now the attention diverted from the budget speech to the students. Yes, sure, social media had an influence in it, but the greatest influence was the marches, going to the Union Building, going to Luthuli House. That really, really put more pressure on government to act. These are the very same securities that are on campus when we're there. So we sort of work together when we're on campus. Now that we want something different, now we are sort of the enemy as students, which I found really bizarre, you know. And seeing the violence going on, especially to women, it was really something that was concerning because we found a lot of young women being assaulted, a lot of young women being beaten up, which was something that I did not expect, considering the fact that it was a higher tertiary institution march. So it was really concerning and quite disgusting, really, from the private security to do that to their very own students.
I wouldn't want another person to go through what I've gone. And perhaps we are not all people are like me to have that mind of trying other avenues and other things. We are not all that experienced. We're not all that vocal and opinionated. So and it's the same thing as Tatu Mandela. They could have stopped. I mean, they were old, but they didn't stop. No one stopped. No one stops. You don't stop because you are sorted. You stop. You continue to fight. You continue to support movements like this because you want the whole black community to be emancipated. If you're fighting for yourself, that means your entire black family is going to depend on you to understand, but you are creating a system of dependency on the other people. So let's open these avenues for the kids coming after us, for everyone else. Let everyone have their degree. Let all of us work. Let all of us achieve our dreams so that no one is dependent on anyone.